Here we go. हाँ जी, tonight we have a very special podcast नहीं बल्कि इंटरव्यू के लिए थे आज इसे बेराम, because बेराम आज मेरा co-host नहीं है. आज ये इंटरव्यू इसका मैं लूँगा और एक तो बेराम है, उसके साथ साथ हैं हमारे साथ Meheq Khokar, who is currently top ranked Pakistan's tennis player और स्पोर्ट्स प्रेजेंटर भी हैं. तो इनसाइट्स लेंगे उनकी, आप लोगों को इन्फॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड करेंगे कि किस तरह आप लोगों ने अगर इस फील्ड में आना है तो क्या पाथ्स हैं, क्योंकि क्लियरली काफ़ी टू डिफरेंट पाथ्स हैं लेकिन दे आर ऑन द सिमिलर ट्रेजेक्ट्री. तो सबसे पहले हम महक से बात करते हैं. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर कमिंग टू द पॉडकास्ट.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's nice to be back here yet again.
Yeah. Sure. So we're going to start off right off from your tennis career, right?
Okay.
How did it start? What did you do to become a tennis player? और पाकिस्तान का थोड़ा सा टेनिस सीन बताएं.
Okay, so I can talk in English.
Yeah.
Okay, so I basically started tennis at a very young age. Obviously at that time there was no social media, and I mean it was really uncommon for women to be in sports competitively. So I have to give credit to my dad that, you know, he put me into a sport at such a young age. I think I started playing tennis when I was about maybe 8 or 9 or something of the sort. And then I remember I started entering national tournaments in my age bracket, started winning them. And then when I was 12 years old, I got selected to go and represent Pakistan internationally for the first time. And I was only 12. And I think when I got to experience that, it was just something so amazing that I knew I was like, this is what I want to do, because it was just a whole different life for a child to have and, you know, a whole different experience. And the thing was, I mean, I actually didn't know this until recently, but apparently at the time, during that time, I was the youngest Pakistani female tennis player to be representing Pakistan internationally.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I didn't know that until recently when someone told me. I mean, now obviously there are younger girls because at that time the youngest age bracket was 14 and under, and now you've got under 10, you've got under 12, but that wasn't there at that time. So yeah, I think it was pretty cool, and that's how my journey kind of just went on from there.
And how's it continuing till now?
I mean, honestly, it's been amazing. I think my childhood, which honestly I feel really blessed for, I still feel so grateful for it every day, was very different than what normal kids had to go through. You know, it was crazy because I'd be traveling so much abroad just to go and play a sport, not to just go and like chill or hang out. And it was like, you know, you had a goal in mind and you were basically traveling with a purpose, right, from such a young age. And especially when you're from a country like Pakistan where that doesn't happen at all, it was something very unusual. And it's kind of sad that there wasn't social media and stuff at that time because people weren't aware about these things at all. And I think, you know, that's why social media is a great platform now to show what, you know, if there is anybody doing that. But I think the fact that I was doing that in my teen years was insane. The fact that, like, I wouldn't be in school like, you know, my fellow friends because I was going and doing something which honestly was my purpose at that time, and it still is, but like I knew my passion from such a young age, and it just went on. Then I got a tennis scholarship in America where I played college tennis in the highest division for 4 years. So I'll just give you a little bit of a background, just for people that also want to send their kids on, you know, a sports scholarship, because it really does change your life. And obviously in America it's really encourage people, you know, they put their kids into sports from a young age, then they go and they play, you know, university sports. So in America you have 3 different divisions, athletic divisions. One is Division 1, Division 2, Division 3. There's also NAIA. But Division 1 is the highest athletic division, and a lot of athletes that go and, you know, play college tennis, they turn pro right after because the training is such, the facilities are such, it's insane. And you get all of that, I would say, free of cost because, you know, you're on a tennis scholarship, you're getting an education at the same time, but you're also playing your sport and improving at it at the same time with great facilities. So, I mean, I did that. I was in a Division 1 university for 4 years where I, you know, I was studying, I was doing my degree at the same time, but at the same time it was really tough, the training, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was, you know, we'd be waking up at 5 a.m, going and playing tennis, training, and then lifting weights after class. So I think it was just such a great experience, and I would really encourage parents in Pakistan to put their kids into that.
That's great. Great. Behram की तरफ आते हैं. ये तो एथलीट है, ठीक है, हम एथलीट्स नहीं है,
नॉट बाय एनी स्ट्रेच,
हम सिर्फ बातें करते हैं. और बहराम, तुम्हारी भी कोई सिमिलर ट्रेजेक्टरी तो नहीं मैं बोलूँगा, लेकिन तुम भी कनाडा में थे for 11 years I believe,
yep,
right? You came back last year, और तुमने एक डिफरेंट पाथ चूज किया, तुमने क्रिकेट के अंदर पाथ चूज किया, राइट? क्रिकेट जर्नलिस्ट बने, जर्नलिस्ट तो नहीं, प्रेजेंटर कह सकते हैं या कुछ कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंट, कंटेंट क्रिएटर क्रिकेट का. तो तुम्हारी जर्नी कैसी रही? स्टार्ट क्या लिया तुमने ताकि लोगों को पता चले कि कैसे घुसना है इसके अंदर?
Acha, first of all, thank you for giving me this platform, Saad, to talk about my career. I love to talk about myself, so really happy with that. And before I even get to my journey and how that started, more power to you, Meheq.
Thank you so much.
And I hope that young Pakistani girls who are watching this, you know, they pick up the sport and are inspired by your journey. And the fact that you laid out a roadmap for them and are talking about sports scholarships in particular, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So,
very important.
And after that, you can. I'm sorry to cut you, but I just want to add. After that, you can play professionally too. I'm still playing competitively. Like I'm representing Pakistan internationally till this day. So it's just I just want to make everybody aware about it so they can.
Yeah, and I hope that you go on to win several laurels for Pakistan.
Thank you so much.
On the tennis court. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
True trailblazer, and you guys should follow Meheq. Okay.
Thank you.
Now
Follow
on
her,
to me.
him.
Yeah, follow them too as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, we'll come to the Canada stuff later.
Acha.
Start. If I actually go to the start. देखो शौक तो बचपन से था. I've been an avid cricket fan since 2002, 2003. And from a very, very young age, when I used to be watching ESPN, Star, and all of that stuff, and John Dykes.
John Dykes.
You know, I used to love John Dykes, and I used to have this vision picture as well in my laptop as a teenager back in high school, in which there was a picture of John Dykes.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted that, and I'm big on manifestation. Even though तब नहीं था, तब बस वो कोई secret थी documentary.
Yeah, The Secret, of course.
The Secret had that vision board thing, so I just made a vision board, but. Over time, I've seen that if you really do truly want something,
You get
then
it.
you know the universe does create paths. It's just you have to be obsessed. You have to be relentless.
But you have to work hard as well.
Absolutely.
It doesn't come just
Yeah.
in, you know.
Oh yeah,
just
100%.
like that, yeah.
Nothing
The
just.
manifestation is real with hard work.
The thing
yeah.
with manifestation is that the opportunities open up in your brain before they actually
Yes.
do in the world.
Yes.
Like you can see it. You can
Yes.
just
For
go
sure.
seize those opportunities,
Yes.
right? But if you go to the true start, we'll have to go back to April 2013. Our friends actually, Zakri and Abu Bakr, they were over from Chicago spring break, and I had like a very hot debate with Bakr. And after that debate,
बकर की बहुत hot debates होती हैं.
oh, by the way, Bakr never concedes. ठीक है? So Bakr conceded after that debate, and he told me, hey, I write for the Tribune and stuff. You should totally try it out. You should talk about this moment. So as soon as they left, spring break ended. मैंने वैसे ही एक article लिख दिया. I sent it to the Tribune, और वो उसी दिन छप गया. They published it right away. That gave me an insane amount of confidence. So I used to write for the Tribune. Back in the day, Tribune used to be a good publication.
Definitely, 100%. Still is,
Tribune blogs used to be quite big back in the day.
100%, yeah.
Cricket section निकाल दो तो अभी भी.
हाँ, Cricket Pakistan is a different story, but back in the day,
Yeah.
Tribune was, you know, I felt really proud
Obviously,
and motivated. That, damn, I got published.
That's 10
in the
years
Tribune.
ago.
Yeah. I was 19 at the time, right? I'm nearly 30 now. So journey उस तरह तो काफी पहले start हो गई थी, but obviously I was in university. So I was at the University of Waterloo in Canada. 2011 में मैं गया था, 2013. So I was already like a junior or sophomore at that point, right? So that's where it started, and I would write for the Tribune whenever I felt inspired. Obviously, it wasn't a paid gig or a regular gig because I was studying and I was no one, right? So it was a very good launch pad in that regard that after doing it for a year, I basically came back to Pakistan and उस time पे ना FIFA World Cup 2014 शुरू हो रहा था. So I had a friend who had recently gone to the PTV World headquarters, right? And she said that she overheard someone saying that they don't have a sports guy for this World Cup because other people are gone on vacation and stuff like that. So Daniel, I forget his full name, Daniel Afzal, I think. पता नहीं, मैं नाम भूल गया हूँ, but Daniel creates documentaries or something now. So Daniel, basically, I used to hound him with emails because that's the email that I got. So every day I would write an email that, hey, I do this, ये मेरा काम है, ये सब कुछ. एक दिन बुला लिया PTV ने. ठीक है, मैं shocked था. मैं गया वहाँ पे तो I thought they would audition and everything. So I spoke to Daniel about football. I obviously knew a lot. I had written a piece as well for the Tribune on the World Cup. So he spoke to me and was like, yeah, okay, you're on at 9. And I was like, say what? You know, like, is there no audition?
Caught by surprise.
And then I remember there was this other guy who was standing there, जो कोई होगा साथ production में कहीं काम करने को कहता है, sir, live audition. तो मैं गया हूँ bathroom, मैंने छट्टा मारा अपने आप को मुंह पे, मेरे शीशे में देखा, मैंने कहा, okay, you know, this is happening, and go and give it your best shot.
Yeah.
तो PTV World पे जो TV पे air time मिल गया, बहुत बचपन में, I was still 20, right? और फिर Daniel eventually, you know, did not continued to do the show when Leena Moeen Aziz was back.
Yeah,
So
she's the one that's yeah.
Leena came back and she started doing shows with me, and she was, I suppose, so impressed. She also gave me some valuable tips, right? She told me to just calm down and say my story or whatever जो मैंने बोलना है. क्योंकि शायद मैं शुरू में ज़्यादा excited हूँ. I don't know. You'll have to go and dig up those videos on YouTube.
नहीं, वैसे excited होने में time नहीं लगाता.
हाँ, excited बहुत मेरा मसला है, personal ज़ाती. ठीक है, so she gave me a few tips as well, which I incorporated, and basically from 2013 to 2017, ये जो period था ना, I was writing for the Tribune whenever I felt inspired. So there are probably like 25 or 26 op-eds, something like that. अभी भी, I think it's on my link tree. You can go check it. जो भी आप Twitter पे अगर मेरे link tree पे जाओ Def Mango के through. So you know, the TV exposure was great. और 2017 तक जब मैं पाकिस्तान आता था, जब तो फिर जाकर कभी क्रिकेट के शो कर लिए, कभी फुटबॉल के शो कर लिए, you know, intermittently. Never got paid for it again, but still
you need to start off somewhere, even if you're not getting paid.
Really
initially.
grateful for the exposure, and what that gave me was a taste of what this life is going to potentially look like. But obviously I was studying over there, and then 2017 के बाद I started working in corporate. ठीक है, so obviously anyone who does work in corporate would recognize the fact that you don't have a life otherwise. ठीक है, even your downtime, often you have to socialize and mingle with people in corporate to further your career and visibility. And I think everyone should further their visibility. It's always important, regardless of what field you're in. Right? तो उसमें काफी energy लग गई. तो फिर 2017 से 2021 तक कुछ भी नहीं किया क्रिकेट में, मगर वो टेस्ट मिल गया था, एंड आई ऑलवेज काइंड ऑफ न्यू आई वांटेड टू डू दिस, गोइंग बैक टू द विजन बोर्ड एंड एवरीथिंग. या
ऑसम.
अच्छा, अब मैं महक की तरफ जाता हूँ. आप भी स्पोर्ट्स प्रेजेंटर, टेनिस यू करंटली प्लेइंग एज वेल, और आप प्रेजेंटिंग भी कर रहे हैं. तो उसकी जर्नी बताएं कि उस
How did that start?
उसमें
so I told you I was in university in America on a tennis scholarship, and I basically my major was broadcast journalism. So this was like back in the day, and at that time I already knew, I was like, you know, I want to become like, I want to get into sports broadcasting. I want to become a presenter, or like, you know, a sports show host. But it was mainly like a sports presenter, because again, in other parts of the world, you know, we had that, but in Pakistan we didn't have that. And it was really funny, actually. I think this was like 2 or 3 years through my degree. I came back for the holidays, and my brother-in-law, he's like, oh, you know, there's someone who started doing what you want to do. And I said, oh, who? And he told me about Zainab Abbas. It was really funny. And he's like, oh, there's this girl called Zainab Abbas. And I was like, oh, wow. And then I remember, like, and at that time she wasn't obviously as big as she is now, because she's just started out. And then I remember, like, you know, I looked her up, and then I started following her, because I was like, this is really cool. She's doing something that I want to do, because I was studying exactly that when I was in university. And then anyway, I came back, and my plan in my head was that I don't want to come back to Pakistan. Whatever I do, I want to do either over there or in the UK. But I came back, and I think Pakistan is a great place to kind of gain experience and to try to, because, you know, like over here, like I said, there's not that many people doing it. So it's actually easier in the beginning to kind of get in the picture. So I came back, and then I was like, okay, I need to start working for like an English TV channel, because that I want to, you know, I want to move abroad eventually, so English would be good. And at that time it was PTV World, just like his journey. So my journey started from there too.
Sorry to interject, but I think that was one big advantage that both of us had, because I mean, I don't want to say कि सबके पास ये होना चाहिए. English is our second language, but having a strong command over the English language, PTV World के लिए you're nicely set up for that.
Yes, definitely.
Because 100%. It is an English channel, right? So it does give you that sort of an edge. So I mean, all the people who I work with over there, there's Ali Gohar. There is Ahmed Nawaz, Leena, Daniel, Shirazi bhai.
Shirazi, Arsalan Shirazi.
So shout out to you guys for giving us an opportunity.
An opportunity, definitely. So I remember that, and it was in Islamabad, and PTV is like mainly the only channel in Islamabad. So I went, gave an audition, just like his story. They're like, right, you know what, you play tennis, we're going to put you in the sports show. I was like, perfect. So they put me on it, no live, like no, because I think they put you on the show because they know that you're going to be able to talk about the sport, especially me, because I was related to sports, right? So they put me on it, and I remember Ali Gohar was the host at that time, but he's been my friend from before too, so he made it quite easy for me.
Ali Mehdi is also over there.
Ali Mehdi is there too. So Ali Mehdi is there too. So I remember that's how it started, and then eventually it was quite strange, because I was working as a news anchor at the same time as well in PTV World. So I was like on the sports show, but I was a news anchor at the same time. And actually I'd written like a few articles for the news in the Nation. I think it was 2 or 3. It was on these two like national and international tennis players of Pakistan in the men's, and it was basically like they were on two different topics, but they were published in The Nation and the news. So I did that, and then eventually it was last year when I actually got a call, and they were like, okay, we need a female presenter because there's going to be the Pakistan and Ireland women's game. Ireland's coming to Pakistan, cricket game. We need a female presenter. Zainab wasn't here. She was gone for the World Cup, or I don't know. They just needed someone new for whatever reason. And so they called me in for a domestic game to see how I was, to see how I could, if I was good enough to do it. So I went, and honestly, I was not expecting this call at all. I don't know how it happened. And then I went and, I did a domestic game, and then they're like, okay, we want to keep you for the women's game. So I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So I went, it happened in Lahore. It was a great experience. And then I got a few other gigs where like I did a YouTube show with Inzamam ul Haq. I was the host, and it was Inzamam ul Haq, Moin Khan, Abdur Razak, Yunus Khan and Imran Nazir were my guests. So I've done that twice or thrice I think.
Did they manage to get your accent?
No, so I spoke to them in Urdu, obviously. These kind of shows you have to do in Urdu. You can't do it in English. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to tell you, I was also working for PTV Sports. So I had my own all-sports show on PTV Sports for quite a while. I can't believe I think it was Sport. Oh my God, I cannot believe I forgot the name of it. But
Sports Extra?
No, not Sports.
Because that's that show that
I was not Sports. I think it was...
PTV Sports?
Oh my God, yeah, it was on PTV. No, mine was on PTV Sports, and I cannot believe I do not remember the name now. But it was like a roundup weekly show, so I would cover all sports. We would start off with cricket, obviously, because you have to, you have to please the audience. But we would basically talk about all sports, and it was a weekly show. So I did that for a while, but that was on and off, and. Because that's just how I guess PTV is. It was on and off. But so anyway, so I got that cricket gig, loved it. Still playing tennis, doing gigs, whenever I get the shot. And then I think this was in May. In April. Then I was, the Pakistan and New Zealand men's cricket game. So from the PCB, I was like, you could say another presenter. There was Zainab there. She was the main one. Then I was another presenter. So I did like a few. So that was amazing because that was like, the first like big gig. And I was like, this is so cool. I think that was just amazing overall. I was in it throughout for all the games. And then I got like a job offer in Lahore. So I moved there for this TV channel. So that was pretty cool, but I'm not with them anymore. And then now I'm just, I did the domestic final in Lahore it was. And it was pretty cool because I wasn't just interviewing the players, I also did the post show on it. So I had Sarfaraz Ahmed where I had to do a show with him. Then I had Shan Masood, I had to do the post show with him, and it was like all these like big names, like I was doing the post show with them. So that was cool. And now I'm doing currently the Pakistan Cup, like just the semi-final. So basically what's broadcasted on TV, they'll call me for that, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, let's do this. So now we'll see what happens next. Let's see what comes next. Thank you. Yeah.
उन्होंने तो अपना पूरा स्पोर्ट्स प्रेजेंट का बता दिया. तुमने अभी फर्स्ट पार्ट बताया था कि तुम यहाँ तक पहुंचे हो, ठीक है. उसके बाद आई नो कि तुमने यूट्यूब चैनल अपना स्टार्ट किया था राइट बीच में, और फिर उसके बाद तुम ग्रासरूट्स क्रिकेट तक कैसे पहुंचे?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. देखो बचपन से शौक तो था और वो चीज़ दिमाग में डाल भी ली थी. So basically what I want to say is that the whole move back to Pakistan, and whilst a lot of people call it brave and everything, and if you look at the economy, it kind of is brave, but it was never spontaneous. This was always the plan. And I mean, I do live a privileged life in Islamabad, so in a way I save money over here. I don't have to pay for rent, I don't have to pay for food and gas and that sort of stuff. At least right now I don't, right? So मेरे पास वो एक luxury थी. So I was like, okay, I will, once I'm done with my Canadian mission, which was obviously to become a citizen and everything. And I worked in corporate from 2017 to 2022. मगर 2021 में ना मुझे ये था, कोविड टाइम्स चल रहे थे, वर्क फ्रॉम होम था, तो मैंने कहा यार, if I want to move back to Pakistan and actually pursue this stuff that I haven't done in 4 years or I haven't even touched in 4 years. Obviously, आप fan तो तब भी होते हो, देख रहे होते हो आप सारा कुछ. But I was like, I need to start something. I don't want to go to Pakistan and just, hope or pray for an opportunity to fall into my lap. And that's not how life works. So I was like, you got to start hustling right now. And that's when I created Qazi Diaries, which was my YouTube channel. इसके ऊपर मैंने 94 वीडियोस churn out की थी in half a year basically. So it was
nice.
a video every other day or more than that actually.
That's some serious motivation.
Yeah, so I was like, I've got
Dedication.
That
to
is.
force my way through into this industry and somehow increase my visibility, and then some people start following my work. So काफी challenging था वो to work a 9 to 5 job and also do that on the side, because you have to record, you have to edit, you have to publish, you have to market, you have to do a lot of things and across a lot of platforms as well.
Definitely.
So I basically would corporate job 9 to 5 तो होती नहीं है. Corporate job is 9 to whenever.
Yeah.
So after I'm done, good thing is you don't have that post work exhaustion because you're at home. तो उसके बाद फिर record किया, सब कुछ किया, edit, publish, market. If I'm lucky, I would get done by midnight. वरना उससे भी late हो जाता था. तो मेरी social life मर गई थी. कह लो आखिरी साल बिल्कुल. Like my friends really had to schedule time with me कि इस दिन game नहीं है या whatever. तो इसके साथ ये कर सकते हैं. तो ये कर रहा था मैं, and I built some solid connections. I got the opportunity to interview Rashid Latif, Dr. Numan Niaz, Gautam Bhimani from India.
Yeah, वो देखा था मैंने.
But the most important person that I interviewed over here was Nawab Hassan Hussain Qureshi. Hassan bhai के साथ मैंने show किया directly after Pakistan lost the semi-final to Australia. I know it keeps coming into our podcast.
Hard
I
podcast.
did not intend for it to come this
Hard
time.
podcast में.
तो बड़ा अच्छा show था. Hassan bhai and I, like, once we were done, we really felt a connection. We were like, यार इसी तरह होना चाहिए content, because we were very sane about it and we didn't like वो जो general चीखे मार रहे हैं क्यों हुआ ये हुआ, people going nuts, it wasn't that sensationalist angle नहीं था उसके अंदर. तो हम दोनों को एक feel आ गई. I was like, Hassan bhai, we need to do this more frequently. December या end of November था कि Grassroots cricket की opening आई कि they want a video guy. And Hassan bhai had been working with me, so I think he probably put in a word and he also encouraged me कि तुम हैं ये करना चाहिए, you are like tailor made for this. So I applied and it was seamless. They hired me and there on my cricket channel जो मेरा YouTube पे था, Qazi Diaries, it became dormant because then I started to create video content for Grassroots cricket. जो अपने लिए कर रहा था वो Grassroots के लिए करना शुरू कर दिया. और करता गया, this was November 2021, end of November 2021. तो तब तो मैं कनाडा में ही था. मैं वापस और मैंने अपनी जॉब छोड़ी है वहाँ पे August 12th 2022. ठीक है. और नवंबर में मैं आफ्टर लाइक 3-month bender घर पहुंच गया था फाइनली, because I was like इतनी देर मैंने बाहर काम किए, पैसे कमाए, थोड़ा enjoy कर लें, हॉलीडे पे चले जाएं. So I came back just when the T20 World Cup had ended, right? That's when I landed in Pakistan. I already had been working for Grassroots for a year. ठीक है. और मेरे काफी video content था. We had Haider Azhar, Usman Samiuddin, some other big names that I can't quite recall right now. But basically by this time I was the main video guy and Hassan bhai kind of had taken a back seat. I had taken over. Transition कर लिया था हमने over the course of a year. So once I came back I was like, I don't care about the money, I just need a press pass, because अब मैं आया हूँ यहाँ पे तो I need to get my hands dirty. And luckily enough, and thank you to Grassroots Cricket and Ali Tareen and everyone involved for getting me that press pass. So I was covering Pakistan's home season in its entirety. और मुझे था कि मुझे तो और कुछ चाहिए ही नहीं.
और perfect timing to come back to Pakistan, नहीं?
इतना अच्छा बम्पर होम सीजन आ रहा था. पाकिस्तान ने परफॉर्म नहीं किया, मगर you had England and New Zealand playing test cricket in Pakistan. You had a PSL coming up and PSL की भी fanfare with every passing year it increases because the subplots increase and team fandom increases. People
नए
are more
fans आते हैं.
इन्वेस्ट हो जाते हो ना आप ज्यादा, क्योंकि एक नैरेटिव बिल्ड हो रहा है ओवर द कोर्स ऑफ व्हाट इज इट नाउ 8 सीजंस. ठीक है. तो बेसिकली इसके दौरान आई यूज्ड टू राइट माय डेली पीस. आई यूज्ड टू डू फैन कैम इंटरव्यूज. अपना खुद से इक्विपमेंट लेकर मैं पहुंच गया था, माइक शाइक, ट्राइपॉड. सो आई गॉट दोस फैन कैम इंटरव्यूज. आई यूज्ड टू ऑब्वियसली राइट एवरी डे एंड I was present during the press conferences. I think that's what gave me crazy traction, kyunki I'll be honest over here, no disrespect to my peers, but everyone's trying to fetch a headline and trying to rile someone up ताकि कोई ना कोई बात निकले, ताकि हम कोई खबर छाप दें और controversial हो जाए और हमारी TRP हो जाए, hits आ जाएं, ये सब कुछ आ जाए. I just focused on actual cricket questions, trying to gain insight from the cricketers, because यार उन सबकी एक इज्जत है, there are athletes and whoever is serving Pakistan, they command a certain amount of respect. You have to frame your questions in a way कि आप उनको disrespect मत करो. You still need to ask hard questions. Cricket related questions भी hard होते हैं. तो luckily enough Grassroots Cricket used to post press conference questions. उनके पास वो वाले पता नहीं rights होंगे या कुछ था, या सभी करते हैं वैसे वो तो unless told otherwise. Yeah. तो उन लोगों ने ये करना शुरू किया एंड उससे मेरे जो क्वेश्चंस थे वो हाईलाइट हो जाते थे. इट बिकेम अ थिंग. हाय, दिस इज बहराम काजी फ्रॉम ग्रासरूट्स क्रिकेट. फैजान लखानी भाई तो मुझे अभी भी इसी तरह मिलते हैं, मिलते ही इस तरह है मुझे. ठीक है, तो वो एक चीज हो गई. आई यूज्ड टू से इट एवरी टाइम बिकॉज़ विजिबिलिटी, पता चले लोगों को कि बहराम काजी आगे ग्रासरूट्स क्रिकेट के लिए काम करता है वो. तो मेरे सवाल जो थे ना प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस वाले, उनको बहुत ट्रैक्शन मिल गई. इसके दौरान obviously in the middle I got to interview some esteemed people, Michael Atherton, and then I got what's his name, Matt Henry. Yeah. There were a few others as well. इस वक्त मुझे याद नहीं आ रहे मगर ये दो तो थे ही थे. Obviously I would network constantly along the way. England की सीरीज में तो मैं बैठता ही English media के साथ था, like Vish and क्या नाम है उनका, Ali Martin. I forget the Telegraph guy's name, Nick Holt. You know, these are the guys I was kind of surrounding myself with. And Daniel Rasool. Big shout out to Daniel Rasool and Atif Nawaz. दो ऐसे लोग हैं जो आकर शुरू में ही, and ऐसे इफ्तिखार नागी टू एक्चुअली, आकर शुरू में ही अच्छे वर्ड्स बोले, मोटिवेट किया. जब कोई सवाल हो जवाब दे देते थे. And anytime I'm a curious cat, so I'm sitting in the press box and something happens and I'm like, hey, has this ever happened before? Yeah, what's the record for this? Daniel Rasool always used to give me those answers. और भी कुछ लोग हैं. फैजान भाई later on started doing that with me. Shahid Hashmi is there. You know, he was really keen on these sort of छोटी चीजें. तो वो press box experience ने really enrich कर दिया मेरा अपना experience and journey. You know, and it gave me the motivation that I belong. And you know, it's tricky in that press box. I'm not going to say it's not, but यार मैंने सबको हमेशा इज्जत ही दी है. ठीक है, my brand of work may be different from other people, but that doesn't mean that I'm here to say that you're bad. I'm here to do my own work. ठीक है, whether or not I agree with your work, वर्क स्पेस के अंदर मैं हमेशा आपको रिस्पेक्ट ही दूंगा. तो और है भी सबके लिए रिस्पेक्ट. एवरीवनस बीन नाइस टू मी. किसी ने मेरे साथ कोई बुरी चीज नहीं की. एक बुरी चीज हुई थी, वक्त हुआ तो बताएंगे, बट
अभी मैं पूछूंगा.
तुम पूछ लेना वो. बट जीआरसी ने जब मुझे वो प्लेटफॉर्म दे दिया, मैं इंटरव्यूज भी कर रहा हूँ, फिर पीएसएल आया, आई गॉट अ गुड डील फ्रॉम जीआरसी, बम्पर डील भी मिल गई मुझे. तो उसके दौरान I got to interview some PSL stars. I was really part of the whole mix and everyone used to be waiting for the press conferences. और कुछ तो TikToks बन गई थी. पीछे टाइटैनिक का म्यूजिक है, आगे मैं सवाल कर रहा हूँ और फिर आमिर जमाल जवाब दे रहे, इस तरह की चीजें हो गई थी. And one thing I always made sure to do was that if a player had done well, I'd congratulate them on that performance alone. And I would always try to, you know, जब खत्म हो रही थी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में एक हाथ मिलाकर गुड लक या इस तरह कुछ, you know, एक दफ़ा बल्कि कोई एक हीटेड प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हो गई थी और नसीम को कुछ अजीब से सवाल पड़ गए थे. तो नसीम जब एंड में जा रहा था ना, तो थोड़ी खामोशी थी और no one was saying anything. So I was like right on the corner. तो मैंने बस अपना हाथ आगे किया बैठे और उसने मुझे यहीं से ताली दे दी.
अगर वो ना देता तो कितना awkward होता.
बहुत awkward होता. मगर Simo is great. He's Naseem Shah has great presence in front of the camera and he's actually really good at it. Out of all the people that I've seen in Pakistan, Naseem Shah really knows how to do this, right? बड़े अच्छे जवाब देता है वो and he's very focused and get well soon Naseem, please. But anyway, it was that press conference traction that I think really put me into the limelight. तो नहीं कहूँगा मगर नजरों में लाया. You know, that's probably the better word because अभी भी I don't think like I'm not even close to where I want to be in life, you know, in this career and journey. So Grassroots साथ अभी भी काम करता हूँ मैं. I still churn out content for them and I'm the video content lead now. And it's been you know, a really good journey. And they've grown and there's lots more room for improvement जो कि आहिस्ता और काम होगा. So any fans,
in every phase of life.
Any people who are watching this who also watch Grassroots cricket, stay tuned. I do have some ideas. Hopefully, you know, they'll come to fruition. But yeah, that was the best launch pad I could have possibly gotten. And शुरू में this job wasn't lucrative for me. अभी भी अगर आप इंटरनेशनल स्पेंडिंग पावर वाले हिसाब से देखो तो इट्स नॉट लुक्रेटिव. बट अगर आप पाकिस्तान के हिसाब से देखो ना तो इट्स गुड बनी. एंड आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल फॉर यू नो द अपॉर्चुनिटी दैट eventually allowed me to be in the position that I am today.
That's nice. अच्छा, इसने तो अपनी जर्नी बताई कनाडा से and all of that. You're born in Scotland. Everyone जो भी आपको फॉलो करते हैं they know that, right? तो स्कॉटलैंड से आप इधर पूरी फैमिली मूव हो गई. उसके बाद आपको एक तो टेनिस में और फिर स्पोर्ट्स प्रेजेंटिंग में किस तरह ब्रेक मिली आपको?
Juggling two things.
That's
So
impressive.
basically, my mum was born. I think I said this in the last time I was here too. But my mum.
That's on a different channel, by the way.
Oh right, okay, then it's fine. Yeah. Okay, so basically, my mum was born and brought up in Scotland. Her entire family still lives there, and all of us, we were all born and we lived there on and off in Scotland as well. Now my dad was from here, so when my mum got married to my dad, she moved here. She was the only one from her family who moved. But yeah, I think. So we're talking about juggling two things at the same time. So you know, it is crazy because a lot of times I won't like, I mean, a lot of people might disagree with me and be like, you should just focus on one thing and stuff like that. But this is something that I want to do. And this is how I enjoy it. At the end of the day, it's about what I like, right? And what I want to do. So now the thing is, for example, like right now, even if I've got a gig, and sometimes they will like clash with a tennis tournament or something, and then I have to make the decision given in that time. But like even right now, you know, the World Cup was happening and I had 2 national tournaments, and I knew that, no, I want to play the national tournaments. And I'm glad I did because I won both of them.
Nice.
So yeah, I won both of them. And I mean, I won all the events that were in it. There was singles, there was doubles, and there was singles in the second one as well. So I won it
Great
all.
stuff. Put it
Yeah,
right there.
thank you. But yeah, so the thing is, I mean, yeah, when you talk about juggling 2 things, sometimes it can be tough if they're clashing with each other. But for me, this is what I love doing. And I think one of the reasons why I'm still playing tennis is because, again, in our country, I think that is something that is needed for women to do, for women to pursue. And I'm just hoping that, you know, some way or the other, it might just cause some change. And I mean, I've got some ideas in my head to bring about a change and, you know, to do stuff. Let's see how that goes. But you're talking about the big breakthrough. Sorry, I completely went off track.
I
completely went off track. Big breakthrough. I think with tennis, it was just I honestly, like, I was too even young to understand like how I got lucky to just be in that position at a young age. But I think the big breakthrough for me was when I got to represent Pakistan internationally at 12. Right? And I got to experience, make friends from people from different parts of the world. All of us were from different cultures, different religions, different countries, but what brought us together was the same goal, that we want to win tennis matches, we want to win a tennis tournament, we want to get better at the sport, we want to play it internationally. So, I mean, and then I think when I was, this was again in ITF juniors, I basically made like broke a record for Pakistan. I became the youngest, at that time I was the youngest Pakistani girl, and at that time I was the first Pakistani girl. I don't know how to word this properly, but at the time the first and at the time the youngest Pakistani girl to reach a final of an international tournament abroad. So that was pretty cool. And I remember when I came back, like, you know, even the news people, they came to my house, they did an interview. There was also a picture of me with my trophy on the front page, and then I remember my school like cut it out and they put it all over the school as well. So it was really cool. It was really cool. And then I mean, just I think there's so many things I can't wrap my head around because it's been so many years, right? So all those collective years, I can't just pinpoint one thing altogether. But there were so many different things that were breakthroughs. I can't just call one thing a breakthrough. It's just such a crazy experience when I think about it, and a journey. And I think, you know, with the sports presenting again, I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I haven't even started or reached what I would potentially like to reach in that aspect. And like I told you, for me to like be in cricket sports presenting, doing that, it's just been a year. And I think what I've done so far in a year is pretty good. It's pretty damn good for a year. And a lot of people come up to me, and I don't mean to sound cocky, but like a lot of people, even from from my work, they'll come up to me and they will like, look at you, like just in a year, like, you know, what you've done. So, I mean, obviously you need more time to do more things, and hopefully, inshallah, I will be able to do that. But, I mean, there was also one more thing I forgot to mention, but when I was working for PTV Sports, when I was doing the weekly roundup show, COVID started, so
the show which you forgot the name.
Yeah, I cannot believe I've forgotten the name. This is so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
COVID times are a blur.
Yeah, I think we all lost our memory a little bit. You know, we lost with COVID. We all lost we lost our memory a little bit. So I'll give myself that excuse, right? But so basically, I was doing the show, and then COVID happened. And tennis was just gone. Everything was shut. Yeah. So what could one do? And so I decided, like, months kept going by, nothing was happening. I know this is so crazy, it's going to sound so crazy, but I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to move somewhere abroad and go do a course or something, because I can't waste my time. Like, I know, like, it was horrific what was happening in the world, but I don't know. I don't know why I decided to do that. So I applied for like 2 courses in UCLA, extension, got those, went and did those in LA, lived there for like 3 months, 4 months or something of the sort. And I remember just before I decided to move there, I got this PTV Sports gig, right? So then I told them, I'm like, listen, I'm leaving. I know, like, we'd recorded 3 shows from the studio in Islamabad, but I was like, I have to go. and they were like, okay, well, we're going to give you this liberty. You can, if you buy good enough equipment, and if the producer or whatever teaches you the right camera angles, you'll have the liberty that you can go and record the show there once a week from like LA and New York and stuff like that, with like sport, like in an area with like there's like a sport background. So you can do that weekly, send it to us and we'll air it, right? So I was like, this is so cool. I was like, what else would I want? So I was like, okay, awesome, I'll do it. And then I remember for 2 months I did that. Like every week I would have to record a show, I'd send it to the producer, he would edit it, and it'd be aired. So it'd be aired like it would be aired twice. The same show would be aired twice a week because they would do like a repeat thing. So I think that's something that, I think now when I think of it, I'm like, it's so cool, because I don't know of anybody that's actually done that from here. And imagine like you're in like, I remember I even did it from the Mets, New York Mets Stadium. I did
cool.
it. I did one of the shows with that background. Then the US Open, in the US Open Stadium, I went there.
That's huge.
Yeah, I did it like, with that background. It was crazy. And then when I went to LA, I did it like with different sports backgrounds over there. So I mean, at that time, like I wasn't really into social media. I didn't post anything. I swear, like I had a private account. And like just barely posted anything on it. So again, people that just apart from my few friends or people that were getting to watch it on TV weren't aware of it. So now when I think about it, I'm like, that was such a cool opportunity again that I got. So I think I'm just slowly building on that. Well, not slowly. I'm not trying to go slowly at all, but hopefully I'm just going to keep building on everything that I've done so far. And I do have goals in my mind, definitely, that I definitely want to achieve. And my vision is clear, so hopefully let's see what happens.
All the best.
Thank you.
Talking about breakthroughs, grassroots cricket was a breakthrough, right? Uske baad, you got a gig with Jarrod Kimber. उसका बताओ यार, Jarrod Kimber कौन है? एक तो ये भी बता दो लोगों को, क्योंकि वो जरूरी है.
हाँ, चलो बताते हैं. वैसे काफी लोगों को पता होगा.
काफी लोगों को नहीं भी पता होगा जो new tuners हैं हमारे.
अच्छा. So Jarrod Kimber is former ESPN Cricinfo. He started off with his own blog called Cricket with Balls, I think. And he's very unhinged and has a very unique style of cricket coverage.
Yeah.
And he doesn't work for Cricinfo anymore. He does his own thing. So he has his Substack, his YouTube, and he's across social media platforms. So Jarrod Kimber is like this cult hero of mine from a very young age. जिसके मैं articles पढ़ता था, बल्कि I featured on polite inquiries. अभी recently उसके notes से जा रहे थे तो पीछे polite inquiries की किसी file के अंदर ना मेरा question आया था. उसने कहा, wait, that's you're Deaf Mango. मैंने कहा, हाँ, मेरा सवाल लिया था तुमने. So polite inquiries is what really brought him into my life in a way, and then obviously you start reading someone's work. उस time पे I remember I used to love Jarrod Kimber, Usman Samyuddin, Ahmed Naqvi.
Yeah.
Those were my 3 favorite writers. Yeah. तो उस तरह तो मतलब अगर आपको नहीं पता, go look up his work, and Jarrod is the best person to go to for educated cricket content. ठीक है, no BS, no sensationalism. It's cricket for nerds basically. तो हुआ ये
like us.
हाँ, like us, very much like us. So back when I was doing Qazi Diaries, my own YouTube channel, ठीक है, before Grassroots Cricket, I hopped onto a space which Jarrod Kimber was conducting on Twitter at the time. अब वो X है, ठीक है. तो I was lucky कि अच्छा, Jarrod never does spaces by the way, और वो एक educational ask me anything kind of space थी. I was the first speaker. मैंने बोला यार इस तरह मैं hustle कर रहा हूँ, अपना content create कर रहा हूँ, तो what do I need to do, to get better, कोई tips हैं, कोई इस तरह की चीज़ें. उसने कहा यार I see so many accounts जो अच्छा काम कर रहे होते हैं, they actually put in the work and they're relentless and all of that stuff, then they get burnt out. So what you need to focus on is make sure you don't get burnt out. अपना थोड़ा break भी ले लो अगर तुम्हें इस तरह कुछ feel होता है, but remain consistent. Consistency is absolutely key, and that's all we spoke about. ठीक है. मैंने फॉरन ऑब्वियसली एज एन एक्साइटेड फैन बॉय उस स्पेस से खत्म होते ही Jarrod को लंबा चौड़ा मैसेज डाल दिया कि यार आई वुड लव फॉर यू टू फीचर ऑन माय चैनल दिस एंड दैट. He didn't reply to it. ठीक है. Fast forward to 1 year, I'm in Pakistan, I'm covering cricket from the stadia. Okay, Jarrod Kimber follows me one fine day. Okay,
cool.
That's great. इस तरह कई दफा हुआ है, कभी कभार कोई ऐसा follow आता है, someone who you really respect and enjoy their work.
Oh, I have a story on that, but I will tell you after. Yeah, I will tell you after.
बड़ी एक feeling आई थी. खैर कुछ हुआ नहीं. हुआ ये कि after the home test series, दोनों England and New Zealand, prior to the PSL, Grassroots Cricket का entire staff it got fired. ठीक है, all of us got let go. और इस टाइम पे मुझे नहीं पता था कि मुझे वापस ले आएंगे नहीं. Hijab Zahid, well, now the general
she's the
manager
of Multan
Multan Sultan was the new director of Grassroots cricket at that point, and I had worked with Hijab and I really enjoyed working with
Yeah,
Hijab. She's still one of the people that I actually have a lot of faith in and believe will go a long way in this country, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Hijab Zahid as well. Hijab Zahid, basically when she became director, she was like, I want you back. ठीक है, तो वो मुझे Grassroots में फिर वापस लाई, and she gave me a better package in addition to more liberty and more responsibility, which I'm really, really, again, super grateful for. But in the period where I didn't have anything, Jarrod just messaged me. पहले तो उसने apologize किया, sorry I never got to reply to
manifestation right there.
You never know, man. I mean, at this point I'm convinced. तो बल्कि एक दफा ना I listened to a lot of Manu's music.
Oh,
और मैं
yeah.
stadium में जा रहा था, Manu turned
Was
up
right
over
there.
there.
You
And I
go.
was like,
There's
he
a
kinda
perfect
looks like
exa-
Manu
By the way,
as
I
well.
was just about to say you kind of resemble him.
I've gotten that one before.
And Imam
मेरे
Haq
लंबे
too.
बाल भी होते थे यार.
Oh
I
my
used
god,
to
yeah,
have long
Imam's
hair.
like a bit. Yeah, if you had long hair, then you'd be Manu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the glasses and short
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, yeah.
खैर इस तरह हुआ कि वो चल रहा था, मुझे पता भी नहीं, मैं पीछे से देख रहा हूँ, मैंने कहा यार that hair looks like Manu's hair. I was just like, Manu, and he turned, he was like, Grassroots cricket, and I was like,
Oh,
fuck
nice.
yes.
Yeah, by the way, he's like a huge cricket
Yeah.
fan. Like,
Yeah.
He's a huge cricket fan.
खैर उस टाइम पे, अब ये तो tangent हो गया, मगर when I didn't have any job और Grassroots cricket भी खत्म नहीं हुआ था मेरा.
Tangents are good. हम हमेशा ये बात करते हैं.
Tangents are great. अभी मेरे 2 हफ्ते रहते थे, तो किम्बर ने इस तरह पूछा, पहले बोला apology की और फिर बोला कि क्या हुआ यहाँ पे, तो मैंने कहा नहीं, अब मुझे तो कोई आइडिया नहीं है, but this is what I'm trying to do with my life. This is, you know, my goal and my aim and my passion, all of that stuff. So he basically said that, okay, hang on for a few months or something. I'm busy with something right now. So uske baad, once I'm done, I would love for you to feature as a guest on the Red Inker and come and talk about a few things related to Pakistan cricket. So I was chuffed. I was over the moon. मैंने कहा ये तो best हो गया, मैं Red Inker पे हूँगा. और फिर Red Inker वाला वो show controversial भी हो गया था, कि तुम्हें याद हो, वो बाद में post dated release थी.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't get into that.
हाँ.
Let's just say that if I, being a Pakistani, call
Oh,
other
Meheq को तो
Pakistanis
बताओ क्या
out.
controversy थी? She
Yeah, I
doesn't
want to
know.
know.
Meheq, if I
I'm
as a-
curious.
If I, as a Pakistani,
Yeah.
call out Pakistanis for a certain trait, I said that they tend to be a bit emotional and reactionary. I got called a racist for that.
How is that racist?
I don't get it because I'm from Pakistan.
You
Hell,
are
I left
Pakistani.
Canada and came back
We
to
are
Pakistan.
Pakistani. How is that
Yeah, I
racist?
don't know.
और
How is that
उर्दू में जब
racist?
बात करो ना कि जज्बाती कौम है, that sounds alright. ठीक है, तो पता
नहीं,
नहीं
गोरे की शो पे जाके की
खैर,
बात कर दी तुमने.
गोरे की
ये.
शो वाली चीज
अच्छा
हो
वो
सकती
था
है.
ना कि why did you put us down in front of
फिर
a
कुछ
Gora?
लोग कह रहे थे कि यार ये सिर्फ पाकिस्तान का मसला नहीं, तो मैंने क्लिप निकाली जिसमें मैंने उसी शो में बात किया हुआ था कि when you're a player of Babar Azam's stature in the subcontinent, right, fan clubs and everything and this
They
toxic
exist,
sort of
yeah,
culture,
yeah.
it comes with the territory.
Yeah, yeah,
ठीक
yeah,
है?
100%.
हालांकि मैंने बात की थी, मैंने साउथ एशिया बोला था वहां पे, क्योंकि ये true for India भी है,
Yeah,
probably
oh my god,
Bangladesh भी
yes,
है.
yes,
Bro,
yes,
no,
yes.
Sri Lanka भी
Sri
होगा.
Lanka as well, I was just about to say.
खैर, another tangent
And probably
हो
even
गया.
Afghanistan, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, we recorded both Red Inkers. दो थे, एक Mickey Arthur and team management पे था, बल्कि that'll be an interesting one to watch now.
Yeah.
जो मैंने वहाँ बातें की हैं. And उन 2 shows के बाद he was like, okay, you know, I would want you.
वो वीडियो मुझे भेज देना, डिस्क्रिप्शन में लगा दे.
चलो दगा देंगे. तो मैंने उसने मुझे बोला कि look, I would want you to co-host some shows with me and you will get a certain amount of money for each show.
Cool.
ठीक है. When I had racked up कह लो कोई a little over $200 or something. उसके बाद he was like, okay, let's put you on a stipend. आपको इतने पैसे हर महीने के मिलेंगे. So the best thing that happened to me, of course, I get to work with Jarrod Kimber. I would do it for free. Hell, I mean, उसको बताना मत कोई. ठीक है?
I'm gonna send him this clip.
He's going to be like, damn, okay, work for me for free then.
Absolutely not. And you know, that's what's great about Jarrod. He always wants you to succeed and you to make money and you to grow. And the best thing about working with him, एक तो आपको endless pools of knowledge मिल रहे हैं. ठीक है, आप इतना अपना दिमाग और horizons broaden कर लेते हैं और आपको क्रिकेट एक फर्क नजरिए से नजर आने लग जाती है. And if you just read his weekly column, anyone can do this. You know, if you go and read his daily or weekly, जितने भी Substack आते हैं उसके, आपकी अपनी नॉलेज में बहुत इजाफा हो जाता है. एक तो वो एक ऑब्वियस फायदा है. दूसरा फायदा ये था यार कि एक हिज कोर्स फैंस विद लैपटॉप्स, ठीक है, इट्स $50, मुझे तो फ्री में मिल गया था, मगर वो कर लें, ठीक है.
Privileges, हाँ.
Privileges तो हैं. और by the way, speaking about privileges, I would have not been able to do any of what I'm doing if I did not have the privileges. So I want to acknowledge those. ठीक है, क्योंकि जो पैसे
I think we're very lucky. Like,
Yeah.
we were very lucky.
Very,
We
very
have to-
lucky. And before Jarrod Kimber, I was nearly not making enough money.
Yeah.
But Jarrod Kimber, क्योंकि foreign currency में वो थोड़े पैसे भी हो तो यहाँ पे ज़्यादा हो जाते हैं. That kind of made things sustainable in Pakistan. And what I would really like to acknowledge and thank Jarrod for is that he's really direct and blunt. If he doesn't like something, he'll say it. वो nice नहीं होगा उस point पे. मगर यार उसी time पे जब आप चीज़ अच्छी करते हो वो उतना ही आपको buck up करता है और motivate करता है, and their constant pat on the backs. That stuff really motivates you.
Yeah.
And then he'll share the numbers कि हमारी इतनी growth हो गई है. By the way, we're doing record numbers on Jarrod Kimber podcast, so you guys should go check that stuff out as well. And जो लोग Jarrod Kimber podcast से आए हुए हैं, Thank you. Yeah, and thank you to the Algo, right?
Yeah.
Algo हमारा mix हुआ है.
Algo तो definitely mix हुआ है, and I have so many, people coming up to me who have come to ProSports from Jarrod Kimber podcasts and vice versa.
Nice.
Right, so that's great.
Sweet.
We're building an ecosystem over here
Sweet.
and changing the landscape of Pakistan cricket coverage, right?
And sports, Pakistan sports in general.
And that's the tenor of
ये
Jarrod's
cricket,
show.
Cricket, but
ये show sports.
Yeah.
See, in sports, whenever we get opportunities, look, you do your homework, you can do anything.
I think like sports needs to be brought up in Pakistan overall.
For sure.
And
I talk about this in
like-
every other podcast, right?
And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I'll talk about that later. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
That's fine.
इसके बाद यही बात है.
Okay.
तो किम्बर के साथ एक और ये फायदा है कि I'm not his Pakistan correspondent. I cover global cricket with him. So I get to keep an eye and study the whole game very closely and kind of be one step ahead and ahead of the 8 ball and everything. So बहुत फायदा है. It's the biggest break of my career, hands down. And it's just an opportunity that's ongoing. So I hope that this level of visibility, interaction, it gets me to more places, more gigs, and that's the idea, right? Position yourself in a way कि आप खुद अपनी brand हो और लोग आपको hire करें to do cricket stuff for you, and that's how I position myself. There's no exclusivity with anyone. ना तुम्हारे साथ है, ना Grassroots साथ है, ना Jarrod Kimber के साथ है. इसके ऊपर भी
Freelance,
मैं कर लेता हूँ. That's the only way to grow and also make some bank.
In this industry.
If you stay limited to
one thing, then you'll get more opportunities, and they'll be like, you can't go.
and your paycheck will be limited. ठीक है, और paycheck वैसे ज़्यादा नहीं है. Paychecks are very limited, right?
इस field में तो बहुत कम है.
बिल्कुल, like
I think freelance work in this industry is way better than like
you have to go
getting tied down to
that
one
direction.
thing.
And Kimber then ultimately you could say landed me this job.
Yeah.
In a way.
In a way.
हाँ, मगर वो एक बनता है ना
Everything's
portfolio.
connected, right? Like
Portfolio बन
yeah,
जाता है.
everything's
मतलब
connected.
तुम किम्बर पे ना भी काम कर रहे होते तो मैं तुम्हें बुला लेता.
चलो हाँ, वो भी हम Grassroots भी काफी.
But I truly feel that, like, when you look back, things might not make sense to you at the time, but when you look back, you can connect the dots together. I think, someone said this before, but like, if you connect the dots together, then everything kind of starts making sense to you because everything is, it leads you to one place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
अच्छा, अब आप बता रही थी पाकिस्तान स्पोर्ट्स की एक बात करनी थी और फॉलो जो आपको कोई
Actually I've got two stories, but I'll get into that. I was just generally saying that I think look, for me personally, I think where we see a lack in the country, where things aren't happening in the country, that's what I kind of want to do so that that part in the country can grow. For example, we've got other sports right now. Cricket obviously is huge in Pakistan. It's like a whole separate religion, right? The way people follow it. But then we've got other sports, right? And just in general, or even being a sports presenter, being a women athlete, whatever, these are like things that Pakistan is lacking. So I think to be a part of that, you need to, the saying that you need to be different in order to make a difference. So I think that's where that really sticks out for me. It's like, okay, I want to be a part of something that is not common here, but which needs to grow. So our country can move forward and develop and, go higher. And so I want to be able to make a difference. That's what I'm basically trying to say. And the two stories, I'm just going to quickly run into it. The two stories was one that recently, it's very strange. I don't know why this happened, but I just checked my Instagram and you guys watch football, right? Yeah. Okay, so Roberto Carlos, right?
No way!
I swear to God. And I'm just like on it and all of a sudden I see Roberto Carlos followed you and I'm like, okay, this has to be like a joke.
That's
Is
crazy.
this like a fake page? I go on it and it's like, he's got a picture with David Beckham as well and Beckham's commented, love you, my brother or something, right? So I'm like, okay, this is really his account. And I'm like, this is crazy because when I was younger, I still do support Brazil, right? But like in the World Cup, I would support Brazil and he won the World Cup with Brazil during that time. So I was like, this is insane. Why is he following me? And then I thought maybe it's a mistake, but like he'll watch my stories as well. Like, so I'm like, okay, this is a bit, so I think that was just absolutely insane.
That free kick comes to mind, right?
Free kick, yeah. He was the master of free kicks. So like the thing is, that was insane. And then another opportunity which I got when I was in LA, have you guys seen, I can't believe I'm forgetting things, what's wrong with my memory, but that Will Smith tennis movie, the
Yeah,
Serena, what's it called? You know, the one with
King Richard.
King Richard, right? It won an Oscar. So this is in 2020 when I told you I moved to LA during COVID. I actually have the email, like I've even posted it on Instagram, whatever, but I still have the email. I got an email saying, hey, Meheq, we would like you to play, like, you know, like this certain part in this movie. Let us know if you can do it, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
And for a minute, like, I'm just looking, I'm like, wait, is this
You're
real?
in that movie?
I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened. So then I'm like, they're like, we're making a movie with Will Smith as the lead. It's about Serena and Venus, and we need you to play some tennis player there that's like, you know, on the court against Venus, and then she's in the locker room with Venus and blah, blah, blah. Like when, I don't know, something of the sort. And I'm just like, is this for real? And then I looked it up on Google, and it's like, yeah, there's a movie that's supposed to come out, blah, blah. And it really sucked because I was basically there on a student visa, right? And I've got a British passport. And they're like, and I told them, I said, listen, it's COVID. I don't have time to get a work visa right now. I don't have a green card because they wanted to shoot like within the next week. I wasn't going to get a work visa that fast. So then I wasn't able to take that opportunity, which I think was one of the biggest regrets of my life, because that movie went on to win an Oscar, and it was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, and I think
would've been
Will
crazy.
Smith also practices forehand, which he brought out at the Oscars.
That's true. That's
So
true.
that happened as
That's
well.
a good one.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
think, a lot of crazy opportunities.
That's crazy.
Just I wanted to highlight.
The
yeah.
last couple of questions, right? We're running out of time as well. I want to talk about women
Yeah.
in this industry, particularly, right?
Yeah.
Because we all know that it's male-dominated
Yes.
industry. यहाँ भी देख लो, we're outnumbering
Yeah,
women.
we
जहाँ
are
भी देखो,
outnumbering women.
अभी PTV Sports पे देख लो, एक
Yeah,
रोहा
Roha,
थी,
yeah.
बाकी चारों मेल्स थे. तो क्या challenges face करने पड़ते हैं यार?
Okay, you know, if you want me to be completely honest,
नहीं, थोड़ा सा झूठ बोल.
anyway,
Be honest.
I'm gonna be honest. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna be like, yes, okay, support women. It's amazing. It's so good that women are coming into this
Yeah.
field or any other field where, you know, you generally do see male,
Yeah.
more like it's more male dominant, right? But at the same time, before I start off with the challenges, I just want to say, there is one thing that I actually think women have it in that aspect, not otherwise, but in that aspect, they have it easier here because we don't have that much competition. Men have more competition in this field, in this industry. It's like, if you're a man, you really, 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 like, you're not, like, you know, there's so many men that are competing at the same thing. Whereas as a female sports presenter, how many are there? Like, you can count them on your hand, right?
Yeah.
There's barely any. So when it comes to that, we actually have it easier because we have less competition, right? So over there, men have it tougher. I'm just going to say it how it is, blunt. And apart from that, I think the challenges that we face, obviously, you know, you have to, I mean, generally women that grow up in Pakistan, they're not so confident just being only surrounded by men and being the only women there, right? So I think that thing will be a challenge for most people. For me, luckily it wasn't, probably because I played a sport, right? And when I was younger, I used to train with boys, right? I used to go and do like physical fitness training with boys in Pakistan Sports Board, you know what? I was the only girl, and it would just be like all boys. I would play with boys, right? When I was younger, I'd be the only girl. So for me, like, that wasn't something very different. But I do think that if you are able to make peace with that fact in a country like Pakistan, then you can really go a long way, because that would be a challenge for a lot of women, right? And so I think that's kind of a challenge. But apart from that, I would just, honestly speaking, there's so many ups and downs that, you know, we generally have faced in life. And I think one thing that I will connect to the other is because of tennis, right? I think Agassi's also said this, that tennis uses the language of life, right? You've got advantage, you've got serve, you've got all these different things, which are things that happen to you in life. And even the way the point system is, right? Like, you'll win 1 point, then you'll lose one, and then you'll have pressure on you, and you'll have to get back up again to win the game, to win the match, right? You have to keep fighting your way through. So, I mean, the thing is, look, life is full of ups and downs. You're going to be put down. You're going to face negativity. You will fall down, but you have to keep standing back up again. You can't give up. I think one of the things that I've really learned, you know, since I was younger, is that you cannot give up. If you keep fighting, you will see the silver lining. Like, you will see the light at the door. You just have to keep on going. And so I think that's just a message that I have to give. That just, I know it might sound really cliche, but it really is true. Do not give up. You have to keep fighting even when you know things are getting tough. just keep at it.
I have to add something to this, of course, being a part of the industry for a year over here.
Mansplaining तो नहीं करने लगा.
नहीं mansplaining नहीं करने लगा. मैं बस ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि है male dominated industry. There are no two ways about it. And ठीक है, Meheq's given us some solid perspective on how in certain areas it might even be
That's
easy.
what I'm, look, for me, because I'm telling you that I was used to it since a young age. So for me, it wasn't a challenge. But generally for women in Pakistan, it will be a challenge because you're just surrounded by males. It's nobody, not anyone else.
Also, you know, I just feel like women have to prove themselves a bit more, you know, to solidify their credentials.
Yeah, because if you talk about cricket, right, I think one of the challenges that I did face is how can a tennis player come and talk about other sports? How can a tennis player come and become a cricket, you know, presenter or other sports presenter? And I think I really want to be able to break that way of thinking because we see it in other places in the world where you see all sports presenters, right? Now, the thing is, I would love to be an all sports presenter. That is what I ideally wanted to do, not just cricket. But in Pakistan, we only have cricket. So मैं और क्या करूँ? So there is only cricket here. So मेरे पास, I don't have another option, right? But if I was somewhere abroad, I would do all sports. So I think this thinking, because I have heard that a lot, that, oh, tennis player है, tennis खेलती है, cricket कैसे कर रही है? And then people come up to me and they're like, cricket में interest है भी, था भी, and I'm like, yeah, I used to be obsessed with it when I was younger, like, you know. So it's just, I think this is something that I kind of, I get that question a lot and I have to answer it. So I think this is something that we need to bring about in Pakistan because it is, it is there all over the world where you see all sports presenters, you see people from different fields presenting in different sports. And I think in Pakistan it's not there. Obviously, there's no other
sports to do, right?
Yeah, there's no other tennis. I mean, maybe I guess apart from Zainab, but like even the other, I think Roha played cricket too for Kuwait. But you know what I mean? So there's, but in Pakistan it's not gay. I think जो लड़कियाँ दूसरी sports खेलती भी हैं, if they wanted to come and work in cricket, बेशक उन्हें शौक भी है क्योंकि हर किसी को शौक तो ही होता है cricket का.
बोलना होता है, knowledge है तो why not?
No, but that's the thing. But they're scared because they're like, oh, but we play a different sport, तो हम तो इसमें नहीं आ सकते. So I think I kind of want to break that way of thinking as well. That just because क्योंकि पाकिस्तान में है ही cricket, there's nothing else you can work in. So it's like, listen, even if you're an athlete from a different sport and you want to become a sports presenter in Pakistan, which is basically cricket presenter, you can do it. Yeah. You can do it. And then
she's the prime example for
like
it.
You can do it. It doesn't matter what other people are saying or if people are questioning it. I mean, like I said, I actually want to become an all sports presenter. I'm a bit limited right now, but hopefully in the future that will happen.
Perfect.
With their colleagues and stuff, like they're not going to say anything, but in general, to the public, when you're talking about cricket, because of the way like a lot of people in this country like aren't educated, right? Like
their
the literacy rate.
Conception is that oh ye ladki hai,
ye cricket ke bare mein kaise baat kar sakti hai. So that's true. You might get a lot of slack for talking knowledge about cricket, right? Because they expect you to just look pretty, just sit there, you know, be like, and it's not about that.
Treat them like that, right?
And it's messed up.
It's
messed
up to their faces and everything.
Oh yeah, by the way, let me talk about another challenge. It is that I think in Pakistan in general, you don't get like, I don't know, okay, I don't want to say, but like the thing is you have to really work hard to keep getting things on merit. Like I think the whole system is quite corrupt. It's very messed up because abroad you get things you get things by showing honesty and through merit. Over here it does not matter how good your skill level is, right? In Pakistan it doesn't matter how good your skill level is or how well you present yourself or how well you speak. It's more about, okay, you know what? So I think this merit aspect is definitely a challenge because it would be great if it would be considered upon merit. And then another thing, what were you saying? Sorry, I just cut you out and I keep forgetting. But I think you were saying that, so just sitting there and looking pretty, like, you know, if they hear a women talk knowledge about cricket or any other sport, it's like, oh, isko kya pata hoga? To aurat hai, which is the majority. Yeah. Now, obviously, the different class, different people, but yeah, the majority.
What I'll just say to that is like the general response to that is, oh, isko kya pata?
Yeah, because she's a woman. She's a woman. But I think that norm has been broken by a lot of like women that are in cricket now. They have broken that stereotype, which is great. Yeah, they've broken that stereotype. So I think it's absolutely excellent. She's excellent. That's what I'm saying.
She's probably Pakistan's best commentator.
Hands down, right? So like more power to them, credit to them that they've managed to do that. I think it's brilliant.
अच्छा, last question है दोनों से. पहले तुम बता दो. जो तुम करते हो वो अगर किसी ने करना है तो वो क्या करना है, उन्हें एडवाइस दे दो इसके बारे में.
यार it's quite simple, you know, if you just if you've gotten thus इतना दूर आप पहुंच गए इस पॉडकास्ट में देखते देखते, the answer is
ये जरूरी है.
very very simple, that look, just hustle like crazy, like there's no tomorrow. Be relentless, churn out content on the regular, make yourself visible, force your way through into the industry. जो मैं करता हूँ नौकरी, there is no job title. I've created that job for myself.
मैं भी एक एडवाइस इसमें दे दूं, ask people.
Yeah, ask people. अच्छा, और यार अगर आपको शौक है तो जाकर किसी को ये मत कह दो कि यार मुझे शौक है, मुझे रख लो. कुछ कर दिखाओ. If you're coming to me and want an opportunity, show me your portfolio. Obviously अगर 3 लोग आ रहे हैं और किसी ने काम किया हुआ, मैं तो उसको फेवर करूंगा ना जिसने काम किया हुआ, even though I'm not in a position to hand out jobs to anyone. But if I was in a position to hand out jobs to people, I would look at who has some sort of a portfolio or experience. So, you know, it's not hard to just record content and put it out on YouTube. That's what I did, you know. मैंने 4 साल से कोई काम नहीं किया था, उससे पहले भी unpaid काम किया था. So that's my only advice, that हिम्मत नहीं हारनी जब views नहीं आते. आएंगे 20 views एक वीडियो पे, आपको क्या यार क्या बकवास है.
10 से कम भी आते थे शुरू में.
Remain relentless and always try to continuously improve, क्योंकि you know हमेशा improvement के लिए there is always room for improvement. और अपने आप के biggest critic हो गए ना, फिर watch your content over and over again, be like यहाँ मैंने गलती की है, या ये चीज़ मैं बेहतर कर सकता हूँ, यार ये मुझे चीज़ इस तरह बेहतर समझानी है. You always have to go back to the drawing board and just try to be better. And like you said, ask people, tap into their heads. Like Jarrod Kimber, he is very kind to have a lot of time for me, because I have a lot of questions and I want to be the best, right? I want to be Pakistan's best cricket correspondent.
Curiosity,
Yeah. So if I want to be Pakistan's best cricket correspondent, I will have to work for it. Yeah.
What about you?
I would say, like I said before, I said just, you know, don't be, if you're doing something different, if you're doing something which is out of the box, which I think is absolutely great, because that's what our country needs. So if you're doing something different, something out of the box, something that's not common, do it with confidence. Don't be scared about what people are going to say, because people are going to talk whether you're doing something good or bad. Go for it. It's your passion. Go for it, right? And that is what will bring about the change eventually, right? Be the leader. Be like, you know, the one that goes for it first and brings about that change. And
like
don't
Gandhi
be afraid.
said, right? To quote Gandhi, be the change you wish to see.
You wish to see in the world. And you can't change, you have to change yourself first before you want to change the outside world. Change starts within, right?
Yep.
So just go for it. Be confident. Be fierce. Just go for it. And like I said, you know, there will be times when you'll be put down, or, you know, obviously life's not easy, right? But you have to keep fighting through it. The more you keep fighting through it with a positive mindset and work hard consistently. There's one thing to just work hard and be like, I'm just working hard. But you have to work hard, that I've learned throughout my life, is with a clear purpose and to work hard consistently. So you're not wasting your time, like quality over quantity. Work hard consistently with a purpose in your mind.
And remain humble, or try to, because it can get to your head.
100%.
Following milti hai to thoda sa ho jata.
Listen, I think remaining humble, because I mean, if you're going to become arrogant just because you've gotten all this, don't forget where you've come from. Don't forget that without this you would not be where you are. So remain humble, and never think that you're better than someone just because you've gotten to a certain
don't
place.
Don't be a jackass to people, even online, because aap duniya ko izzat doge to aapko bhi duniya izzat karegi.
I think staying humble, I agree with that 100%. Stay humble through it all. And one last thing I just want to say, that we were talking about, I think another thing that I think would be great if overall in Pakistan that could change is, I mean, you might agree with this, but if you're working for someone, it becomes harder. But if you, like, you know, in Pakistan, it's easier when you've got your own thing. But when you're working for yourself,
उस point पे पहुंचने के लिए थोड़ा time लगता है.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so that's a struggle. You were talking about struggle, right? So I think in Pakistan, when you're working for someone else or under someone else, it's kind of tougher than, you know, countries abroad. So I think that's one challenge. I actually think, no,
in my field. If I start on my own, not a lot of people might watch that. If I'm doing it for Grassroots cricket or ProSports or Jarrod,
no, I agree. In our field,
I don't think you got your point.
I don't think you got my point. I'm saying, in our field, because that's what you have to do. You can't have your own thing. It doesn't make sense. I'm saying in general, this is a challenge for people, because in Pakistan, because unless, you know, when you're working for somebody else, it does become harder than it is when you're working. Like, there's more job stability, I would say, maybe abroad, but when you're working here, like, you know, there can be more like unreliability. People like it can be unreliable. I don't know, but in our field, obviously.
But also
it's just
like,
a challenge.
If you're
basically
working for a big media house, maybe they want you to push a narrative, and that's something I can't do.
No, that's fine. But like what I'm saying is that in our field, obviously, you have to work for people. It doesn't make sense if you don't.
That's a last question है. अब मैं हर question के बाद last question.
ये वाला last ही करो, मुझे काफी देर हो गई है.
अच्छा, यार let's end this on a lighter note, right? कोई funny सी story बताओ यार अपने presenting career में आप overall.
God, I'm gonna have to think.
मैं इतनी फनी तो नहीं, मैं एक वैसे इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी बता देता हूँ.
मैंने फनी बोला था लेकिन चलो
फनी भी है एक तरह से, आप देखो तो फनी है. उस टाइम पे मेरे लिए फनी नहीं थी. ठीक है. Look, obviously the industry is.
She's thinking about it.
Yeah,
Industry
I
is
can't think.
ridden with sensationalism, right? मसाला क्या बिकता है, कोई ना कोई इस तरह की
हमने
बात
कल भी
करो.
बात की थी मसाला
ठीक है?
पे.
मसाला बे, या. So ये चीजें तो होती हैं. अब you have to make peace with that and focus on your own job, but sometimes you know it comes on to you as blowback. So like I said, मैं हमेशा मुबारकबाद देता था. तो I won't name the journalist, but there was a senior journalist who basically took me alone, मतलब, और मुझे बोला था चीख के कि आप इनको मुबारकबाद क्यों देते हो, ये इनकी नौकरी है, इनको पैसे मिलते हैं और ये पाकिस्तान तो नहीं जीत रहे तो इनका तो कोई काम नहीं है ये. और कहते हैं कि ये एक बंदे की टीम नहीं है, एक बंदे की गेम नहीं है, टीम गेम है ये. तो मैंने कहा यार, टू योर पॉइंट, टीम गेम है तो अगर एक बंदा अच्छा करता है तो उसको तो मुबारकबाद बंदा दे सकता है, शाबाशी दे सकता है. एंड अल्टीमेटली दीज आर ऑल पाकिस्तान एथलीट्स, और ये पाकिस्तान को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, हमारे एम्बेसडर्स हैं, उनको इज्जत क्यों नहीं देनी. ठीक है, इसमें मुझे रैशनल समझ नहीं आया. आई सेड दैट, ही स्क्रीम्ड अगेन, आई रिमेन्ड क्वाइट एंड आई वाज अ बिट शेकन after that. But ultimately, you know, ये चीजें, like Meheq said, you go through these sort of experiences.
Yeah, this is gonna happen. You
If
just
anything,
have
it
to
makes you more stronger and more committed to your brand of work. क्योंकि मैं एक जो एंटी कह लो सेंसेशनलिज्म वाला एंगल लाता हूँ, and I want to have smart cricket conversations, unbiased cricket conversations, and actually give the game the sort of focus it deserves. If you just keep your focus that way, it's great. But हाँ, वैसे कुछ नहीं हुआ, ये एक स्टोरी थी. बाकी इंडस्ट्री में सबने प्यार ही दिया यार, आपस की बात है, किसी ने कभी कुछ इतना बुरा
Do you want to know a funny story you said?
फनी चाहिए थी ये.
मैंने horror story दे
This
दी.
was like a horror story.
अच्छा कोई भी इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी दे दें.
I'll tell you something really funny. So recently, one of like the tennis players sends me a link to an article, and I open it, and it's written Babar Azam's mystery wife, and it's a picture of me and Babar Azam.
Okay,
and I'm like,
congratulations.
Jesus.
Can
I'm
we
like,
take a picture?
No, thank you.
With Babar?
And I'm like, what the hell? So basically, like he said, they want like spice or, you know, they'll sensational, like they'll just make up things out of nowhere. And it was so funny because I'm like, what is this? But they kind of blurred my face out a little bit to make it mysterious. So I was like,
Interesting.
okay.
She's the mystery woman that Babar Azam is marrying. She's going to be wearing that Sabyasachi
मुझे
suit
लगता
or whatever.
मुझे लगता है यही टाइटल में लगा देना
ये
चाहिए.
अच्छा नोट था.
Mystery
Great note to
wife.
end the
That
show.
was like,
Yeah.
and it's funny because it just happened recently. So yeah.
Yeah, I would assume so.
वीडियो पसंद आई तो लाइक बटन पे क्लिक करें, सब्सक्राइब टू आवर चैनल एज वेल. महक को फॉलो करते हैं और बहराम को भी फॉलो करते हैं, मुझे भी कर ही थे वैसे. रिंग आइकन पे भी क्लिक करते हैं. वील सी यू गाइस नेक्स्ट टाइम. अंटिल देन, अल्लाह हाफिज.